Are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes. Cool. And the margaritas.
All right. Class here. We're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
This is the time to line up behind your team, to support your team. Have faith in that team.
You know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, it can't always be good. And as I always tell people, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. But when we do know about
house call, Trevon Diggs pick six. Coming, they see it, knocked away. Oh, Gregory! Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. Micah Parsons is unblockable.
Professor O, you have I forgot, you had new music for our background music, and I don't remember which one it is. So I'll let you figure it out on that side as we're getting this thing rocking. With that being said, what's going on, Cowboys Nation? What's going on, Pick Six fam? We are back in the building. Lots to talk about. Lots of things on the line here. Week 18. Spoonie with the please start minicam. That sounds like a preview to some OnlyFans work. Not real sure there, Spoonie. My cam? What's that, sir? We'll see if he gets back here in a second. But hopefully everyone had a fantastic holiday. Happy New Year. We are now rolling in 2023. Mary, how was your New Year's? Did you end up dancing on top of a table like we was against when we beat Philly that one time, or was it low key? You know,
no dancing on tables, but I had a great time.
Awesome. Oh, did you have a great New Year's, my man?
Oh, it couldn't have been better. So I'm watching the Georgia Bulldogs squander a back-to-back championship run, and I'm like, this is not how I want to end my 2022. I want to go into 2023 on a great note. And then at exactly midnight on the East Coast, Ohio State's kicker missed, not wide left, it was a WTF left. It was like 20 yards left. I'm like, that's how I want to go into 2023. Thank you. So it was a great news.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Spoonie, I don't know. The little my cam you had up there, you got a little side work we don't know about. What was that?
Nah, basically it's mini cam.
Spoonie's like, I'm going live on my other channel in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I had a mini camera I used to mess with, so it was on my setting instead of my Logitech camera. So.
Simple. New Year's, sir. Happy New Year's. How was your New Year's, man? Low key.
Yeah, New Year's was
turned up. What'd you do?
Oh, New Year's was great. You know, turned up. That's not one of my favorite holidays. You think about the goals that we couldn't reach in the previous year, and the new goals you want to set for the new year. So, it's a positive thing for me to always set something new and fresh. Whatever I accomplish, this is the year to do it. On top of that, one of my favorite times of the year is the NFL draft. So I'm looking forward to things like that. We all get to hang out and chill in KC, the barbecue and all that stuff. So, I'm looking forward for this new year.
Okay, well, let's we got some playoff stuff to talk about. Let's table that draft stuff. We got some business to handle. Before we get into that, obviously a very scary situation. Monday Night Football. You know, I've watched this game a long time, and we've seen some catastrophic injuries. You know, broken legs and different things that have happened. But for Mr. Hamlin to, you know, the way he went down, very scary. Performing CPR there and getting to the hospital. It's a reminder, you know, how, in general, how fragile life is, right? But on top of that, that this game that they play for entertainment, and at any moment how their lives can change, you know, and how we handle those things. So obviously all the thoughts and prayers and well wishes for him and his family, and hopefully that he does make a full recovery. You know, the one thing, and I saw this clip from a different podcast, Cleveland, I forgot the name of it, forgive me, and he was kind of talking about exactly how the CBA works for this gentleman, and he's only 2 years into the league, so he's not a vested veteran and whatnot. NFL do the right thing. Look, if he's hampered long-term, things like that, NFL step up, do the right thing. I don't care about the CBA. I don't care about that legal shit, excuse my language. Do the right thing for him moving forward, and what it means, and what his family is going to need down the stretch, no matter where, you know, his recovery and things and this medical stuff has to be, for sure. So big shout out to the Hamlin family, and hopefully it is a full recovery. But it's a stark reminder, and for us on this channel, I know for me, I say it a lot, I'm always human over player. The game's, it's bigger. These guys, it's bigger than football for them. And I always cheer for the human side of things, not just a player. And you know, an unfortunate set of events, and hopefully, you know, we got some positive news, Spoon. We got a little bit of positive news. Some things are kind of trending in the right direction, and let's just hope that it continues to go that way and move forward. There would be other things I would like to speak about that I will later. I don't want to do it now and shed on that, but there's a lot of people that make a lot of money did the wrong things on this situation. But I'll spin the block here and what's going on with Hamlin, and get y'all's take. You know, what a crazy situation, man. You're muted, O.
Okay, so like I was trying to say, I mean, it was terrifying to watch that. I think that was probably the emotion that most of us felt when you watched that happen, because it's not uncommon in the game of football to see players go down with injuries, and you know, our minds kind of go to, it's a knee injury or ankle injury or whatever, and then as it went longer and longer, I think we could kind of see, based on his teammates and everybody around, how severe and dangerous it was. So it was terrifying. I'm glad that there's been updates that are promising it. And one thing that I'm taking away from this, especially I know I've shared it with you guys before, but I'm a youth football coach. My son plays football. I'm not CPR certified. If a player were to have any major injury or chokes or anything like that, I wouldn't know how to handle that situation. And obviously we don't have paid medical trainers or staffs or anything like that. So one thing that it did to me was, I need to get CPR certified. Hopefully I never have to use it, but all of us go out to eat at restaurants. All of us work in environments with other people, and you never know. Maybe that's something that if you took time to take a class like that, it could pay off and be beneficial to know. So just in the off chance that I'm ever in a situation where I need to know, I definitely want to take it upon myself and encourage other people to go get CPR certified, because that could be the difference. And again, hopefully it's something we never have to use, but I did want to share some attention to that, because typically in a situation like that, especially with heart attacks or anything where there's breathing issues, the amount of time from when it happens to when CPR is certified can be a difference maker. So I'm definitely going to do that. But I thought you handled it perfectly in what you said. I definitely echo that. And I did think it was cool to see fans across all fan bases kind of come together and share their thoughts and prayers and well wishes, and change Twitter avatars, donate to the foundation. That was really cool to see that rise. So I thought the community as a whole did a great job of coming together in this situation. And like everybody, you know, obviously we're just continue to pray and hope that we get better updates as we go. But it is promising to hear what we've had in the last 2 days.
That part. Mary, you saw it, your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously we're watching it and we're devastated about what's going on, but like, I just kept thinking, like, imagining like how his family is feeling, like how his mom is feeling, seeing your child on the ground like that and not getting up, having to, be laying down and not knowing if they're going to be able to get up. It's just unimaginable, especially for a 24-year-old. It's not something that you expect to see, even if you are playing a dangerous game. So I was just really feeling for his mother and his family. But speaking of the NFL thing, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember where I saw it, but I'm pretty sure I saw a statement where they said that even though he's not a vested veteran, that hopefully he won't need the long-term care, but if he was to need it, that they would waive that requirement for him.
Good.
It's good, yeah. And the crazy thing, Spoon, right, is like it wasn't an outlandish hit. It wasn't something. It's something from him and playing and growing up and stuff. He's probably had that same type of contact a cajillion times, but it was just that time and what happened, man. You had some good thoughts and some things you said on the pre-show Twitter space. I'll let you definitely go ahead and echo them here.
Yeah, it was definitely a scary situation. It seemed when you a lot of time when we watch this game, we see guys get hurt. It's like, okay, they're waving their hands goodbye, everybody's clapping hands, and wish for a speedy recovery. In this case here, this guy, this player, this person, this human being left us, and he brought him back to us. So when you hear those things, it's a scary thing. It creates a scare around people, around those who's around him, those who was watching the situation. There was even a video of him hugging his mother right before the game started, and now for her, like 5 to 10 minutes later, the game started. You went from hugging your son to now watching your son lay on the ground in his situation, how the players will react. I know as fans, us watching the game, we don't know what's going on, but by seeing them, how Josh Allen and Burrows, how in tears, the players, it was a scary situation, and I couldn't talk football, I couldn't play the football, I couldn't listen to no podcast for like 24 hours. It was all on the thoughts of him. I kept on retweeting it, refreshing it, just to see if there's any positive sign that could, allow us to breathe. Okay, things are gonna get better. As I said earlier too, BJ, shout out to you, because I know, a lot of people went into the space for. I just want to talk about something else for the time being, for that mental state, and you held that down. That's not easy to do, because at the same time, I know what you was feeling personally from that, and to still go out there and still staying there strong with a group of people in there, that's big on your part. That's props to you, my brother. But I'm just glad right now that for the last couple of days, we've had good news so far from his family, and we got to keep praying, and to get more better news every day. We want to see this guy talk. I'm pretty sure the NFL will treat him the same way they traded Ryan Shazier from Pittsburgh when he went through his situation, an injury, and let him be part of his NFL family. And I'll say this, I hope that a lot of these fans understand that when you place a bet on a fantasy, DraftKings or whatever, that's you making the bet. That is not the player telling you to make that bet. You understand? So when it comes to something not going your way, in terms of fantasy, you shouldn't have to threaten these players. These players invested their bodies to this game to entertain us, and we have to be thankful for that. What that young man went through in one hit, and it didn't even look like a big hit, a small little thing, he almost lost his life. And right now he's fighting for his life. And right now Instead of us coming out there and worrying about fantasy X, Y, and Z, we should be understanding, appreciate these players to come out and give us something to watch on football Sundays or Saturday. Keep that enjoyment, because without them, we're not being entertained or whatever. So, I hope that this teaches people to fall back a little bit, fall back when it comes to how you communicate with these players moving forward. And again, shout out to the Hamlin family. And like I said, I'm going to pray every day for this brother to come up and get better. And we'll see what happens down the line.
Yeah. Well said, Spoon. Everybody around the board here. Positive stuff so far, incremental. And hopefully we keep seeing those things happen and trend in the right direction moving forward. More to talk about that later in a different setting, some other things on it, but I want to leave it right there. I'll make sure I wanted us to address it and talk about it because I know we all had the chats behind the scenes, and I think it's important for the community to be able to talk about it and have these conversations as well too when something like this happens. But with that being said, we will now transfer over here to some of the Cowboys stuff here. We got 3 Hall of Fame finalists, which, by the way, all 3 of these guys. Is it 4? It's 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll them out real quick for us. Oh, we got Woodson, Howley, and who's
Zach Thomas.
Oh, Cowboys legend.
He counts. He's not a Cowboys legend.
Cowboys legend.
He's suited up. He wore a star, so he counts. But, yeah, I mean the ones obviously DeMarcus Ware. We all expected that. Chuck Howley is more than deserving and should have been inducted a long time ago. But Darren Woodson's the one I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, but Woody has to get in. Like, Woody deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. If you put his stats side by side with Brian Dawkins or any of the other great, or John Lynch or any of those guys, he should be there. And I'm hoping this is a shot. He's a great former Cowboys player. He's a great ambassador of the game. He's a great person. He absolutely deserves to be in. So seeing him on the finalist list, there's 27 other players there that are the finalists, but he has a shot, and I'm hoping this is his chance.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of those guys, Zach Thomas is Zach Thomas, but Cowboys
all 3 and 1/4 of those guys.
Yeah. But the 3 guys specifically should already been in. Like it's I mean, they should have already been in. And this is a tough class. Now, there's Revis is in there, Torrey Holt's in there. I mean, this is a very, very tough class. It's almost like they sacrificed some guys last year and slid some underlining guys that they say if they don't get in now, they're not going to get in. So I don't know, man. But I'm with you, Woodson. I pounded the table for a long time about Darren Woodson. It's criminal that he's not in the Hall of Fame. It's criminal that DeMarcus Ware was on the first ballot. And look, it's criminal. Howley's not there either, to be honest. But for a lot of the more recent fans, I won't say recent, but younger fans or whatever. Look, I didn't get to grow up watch Howley play either. I mean, Darren Woodson just did it all. I mean, I'm gonna use the eye test here, Shady McCoy. The eye test watching him play. Box safety, sure. Free safety, sure. Run support, got you. Cover a slot, not a problem. There wasn't anything from the safety position during that era of football that Darren Woodson couldn't do. He was just that guy and would lay the wood. So my guy TC said, "Would you get in on right?" I'm right there.
Yes, I'm there.
We will go right. I will riot with you, sir.
I did want to clarify too. They cut down the finalists to 28 in November. There's 16 now that are these semifinalists. So, are the actual finalists. So Woody, Zach Thomas, kinda, and DeMarcus Ware are the modern era players that are in the final 16.
Fair enough. So we'll keep some tabs on that, see what happens, and see if Cowboys get a couple more stars in that building in Ohio, right? Boy, how intriguing is this Week 18? How intriguing is this? Things are afoot for the Cowboys, Mary. Things are afoot here. I mean, you go win a game, and magically you turn it to the number 2 seed, and then you kick the old Eagles, who had for lack of a better term, a stranglehold on this division throughout the year, and now you're sending them to Tampa. Didn't seem that way a couple weeks ago, the Cowboys, especially after the Jacksonville game, right, Spoon? But now Cowboys go out on Thursday, handle business. They put the pressure. They drop the game. Now they got to play Hurts. Maybe they don't want to play Hurts, but they're going to play Hurts, right? Is what's going to happen now. Can they get over the Giants? What's going to happen there? Mary, do you want the number 2 seed, or you just want to say, hey, man, I just want to rest some guys and let's just go to Tampa?
No, I want to win. I don't care what the scenario is. I want to win.
Okay.
So if we can't, beat them with our backups, then we need to play our starters as much as we possibly can, and we need to win that game, period. And I would say that regardless of what seeding or who we might face, I want to always win. And in this case, I mean, whether we're 2nd seed or 5th seed, we're facing 2 guys that we can never beat. Even when we play him at AT&T, we can never beat Aaron Rodgers. We can never beat Tom Brady. So it's going to be a difficult game where we're going to have to be our best regardless. So just win, man. Just win.
I will say, for what it's worth, Dak did beat him his rookie year up there in Green Bay. But when the chips are on the line,
7 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Unlike Tom Brady, where it's goose egg no matter what. Spoony, what you shaking? What you got the cup over there? I see you shaking that cup a little bit. What's going on, Spoon?
Well, I'm enjoying my little green tea right here. Listen to the conversation. I'm just wait out when it's my turn. That's all I'm doing.
I mean, you got to pick you out and everything else. I mean, go right ahead here. Week 18 on deck.
Why now we play? There's something on. I want to play a clip. May I play a clip? One of my favorite movies all time, Rocky. This is Rocky. Ooh, Rocky 2. This is the revenge. Okay, I want to play this clip real quick, y'all.
All right. You got it dialed up? I don't know, Spoon.
Yeah, we can't see that. It's not playing. It's not loading.
Spoon, you have to narrate it for us.
We can hear that. We don't know what's
Put it by your
on.
mic. Put it by your mic so we can just hear it. Just put it by your
Kill the
mic.
music real quick.
Yeah, we don't need to see it, Spoon.
This is not
Spoon.
right now. Flag on the play.
We need subtitles. Like, we don't know what's going on.
Let's go.
We don't know what's going on, Spoon.
And Rocky 2.
Yeah, just tell us.
Apollo wanted Rocky because he felt
Disrespected.
in front of the people he won, but the people would say you lost. And his manager, his number 1 guy, is telling him, "No, we don't need that kind of man in our life." And when he walked up to him and says, "The reason why I feel like this because he kept coming after you." Again, the Philadelphia Eagles could have did something weeks ago, clinched. We're not having this conversation. But every time when the Cowboys lost a big game, Green Bay, it's done, it's over with. We still crawling. Jacksonville, we lost, nice, done. Then he came to, we played Philadelphia, we beat them. Oh, now don't worry about it. Next week, we in clinch division with the Saints, yada the third. What happened last week? Oh my God. So now the Cowboys are still back in the hunt. One game behind Philadelphia, and they are playing an NFC East team, a rival, who's also in the playoff, but a little bit different. They're changing the culture. Their coach came out and said, we're not resting players. They can rest after the season is over with. You know why? Because they really exceed expectation. So why just throw it away? Why settle down? No. Why don't we go to somebody's house who went to our house and dirty our house up? Well, let's go to their house and dirty their house up. Let's wipe up the floors, pull down the curtains, take away their hopes and dreams on the number 1 seed or division title. You see, y'all, we're going to win the division.
I mean, but that's not in our control, though. That's not within our control.
No. See, we're going to control that. We are going to We're gonna go to Washington in Chocolate City and melt it down. While the New York Giants in my home in New York City, I love you, New York. I love you guys. You're gonna do Spoonie a favor. You're gonna go to Philadelphia, right? Take away all their cheesesteaks, all their good French fries. Go to their house, dirty it up, and say, "We're taking this from you." That's just it. And we will be the 2023 NFC East champions repeat.
I don't see it happening. Gotta
You know,
disagree.
there's Professor O. There's some symmetry from last season to this season that's kind of funny to me. When the Cowboys clinched the division last year, who was it against? Washington, right?
Yep.
And Philly finished second in the division. And where did they have to go for the playoffs? Tampa.
Oh, Tampa. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And if history repeats itself, Philly's going to Tampa, and we're going to win the division and be at home. But here we are, week
And
18.
lose at home?
We're not going to lose. Why you put the L in the air?
Hey,
I ain't worried about that. They lost on the road. That's them. No. We ain't talking no L's.
Now
It's
scared
23.
me. I don't
We
know.
ain't talking no L's, Mary. So, here we are. But ultimately, is it you want to you're the rest of the guys here and say, hey, look, man, if we're able to win the game, cool, whatever. I'd rather rest the guys and be ready to go on to Tampa. Or are you trying to play and ultimately get this number 2 seed?
No, I'm not resting anybody. I want to win. I want to take momentum going into the playoffs.
Facts.
I want to be the 1 seed. I want the Arizona Cardinals to play the best game that they can play.
In their
And
entire
I want
life?
people to I want people to remember this. Last week, when we put out there the scenarios of how the Cowboys could be the 1 seed, people were like, there's no way the Saints beat the Eagles. But they did. There's no way the Vikings lose. But they did.
Yeah.
The only thing that didn't fall in line was San Francisco.
And it was so
damn
close.
Sure tried their best to lose that game to a quarterback who it was his first start of the year. Like, not likely, but it could happen. So I want the 1 seed. Last year, myself, and I'm not going to speak for you guys, but I seem to remember all of us were on the "We Want the Smoke" tour. All of us, we want the smoke.
I'm still there.
I
Yeah.
want to slay all the dragons. I want to play Brady. I want to.
Yeah.
No, I want the path of least resistance. I want to get to the Super Bowl. I want the 1 seed because the
Right?
Cowboys are 8-1 at home this year.
Yeah.
4-3, which is not bad on the road, and we could be 5-3 depending on what happens this weekend. We should be 5-3, but we're 8-1 at home. I want to have 1 game, just win 1 home game, and you're further than you have been in almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That's the path I want. I don't care who we play. I don't care if it ends up being Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if it's Jalen Hurts. I don't care who we play in the divisional round, but I want to get past the wild card round, and the best way to do that is to get the first round bye. So I'm going into Washington and saying, sorry, Captain or Commander Tutty or whatever your name is, you're going to be 0-2 as a mascot. I'm taking the heated benches, whatever I got to do. I'm having Jaron Curse jump up and down and do all the things I need to
We
do
want Dallas.
to destroy the Washington Commanders. Because if I do that, I have a chance at the 1 seed or I have a chance at the 2 seed. And if I have a 2 seed, again, even if San Francisco does what they're supposed to, now we have a home game.
Yeah.
We're 8-1 at home. That's the best route for us. I know that it's fun to say, well, if we're the 5 seed, we're playing Tampa, and Tampa's not that great, but you're playing on the road and it's Tom Brady. If we become the 5 seed, I'll completely change tune next week and be like, F Tom Brady, sink the ship, go and do it. But I know realistically
Silence
our
the
best
cannons.
pick is to have home field advantage. And again, I don't really care if it's Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Geno Smith. If you're the 2 seed, those are the 3 guys you're looking at. I feel good about any of those 3. I feel less good about Aaron Rodgers, but I still feel good about it because it's a home game. And that stuff matters. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want to win this game. I want to have 13 wins in the season. I want to have the best shot that I possibly can of getting the 1 seed. And if not, I want to win the division and worry about everything else after that.
And I think the other thing too that's wildly important is you were talking about the records on the road and at home. The Cowboys haven't lost a home game since week 1. They've been undefeated ever since. That was week 1. They haven't lost a home since then. It's a whole year ago. Happy New Year's that they lost at home, right? Number 2, the other thing about them losses, when you talk about the Green Bay loss, you talk about the Jacksonville loss, where you had a 14-point lead, you had a 17-point lead, you ended up fumbling the bag. Guess what? Those were on the road. We haven't had those kind of things happen at home, so those things matter. look, you never say never. The 1 seed with with everything has to play out with San Francisco and Arizona, it looks a little rough. But the 2 seed's just monumental. And Mary, back to the point, we were a 4 or 5 seed is what was happening last year. 2 seed kind of changes things. But the thing about even the 2 seed, you don't get the bye, but it's going to guarantee you 2 home games.
Yep.
If you win the first one, you're at least getting another home game in the divisional round, which you're trying to get to the ultimate, championship game that you haven't been to, since '96. And depending on how things play out, maybe you end up hosting that too. You don't know what'll happen there, but at least if you win one, you're still guaranteed another home playoff game. So I'm with you guys. I'm going in there. Look, ultimately, I kind of like Tennessee, like, hey, don't play with your food. Get in there, take care of business, and get the guys out. But yeah, I think you got to go in here. You got to play. You got to play to win. You got to keep the pressure, as we talked about on the spaces and whatnot. When it was against Titans on Thursday, what do you do? And it's like, no, you win and put the pressure on them Sunday for the Eagles to go out there and do their job, and they didn't. So now here's the opportunity before us. And man, isn't it just good that look, man, there's 3 teams from the NFC East going to the playoffs, and the other one just got eliminated. It's been a long time since the NFC East has been viable with really meaningful games against all these teams playing each other here at the late of the year. And that excites me too, because iron sharpens iron. And what I mean by that for us, not about the success of those other teams, we're playing these teams and having good success again against the NFC and where we're at right now. And that makes us better for these teams that we're going to play in the playoffs, because you can't run and hide in the playoffs. You're going to have to play the Brady's. You're going to have to play the Niners. You can't hide, but you've played solid teams throughout the year because the division's been good. That sets you up moving forward. So I want the smoke. I ain't changed that. I already said that over there. I still want the smoke. I don't care how it comes. Sure, I would much rather be the number 2 seed. Absolutely. I want to be at home. Hey, look, I'm ready to go to a playoff game and watch us win one, unlike last year. Whatever. Woo. So, yeah, it was Spoonie, and you introduced me to it. What would you call it? It was brick, right? Brick. That's what it was. It was very cold. Brick.
It was cold. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was super cold, but that is part of the path of least resistance there, as you're talking about. I want the smoke, but I want the smoke at home, though. I want it at home.
Yeah, I want smoke on my terms. I don't just want to have smoke just flowing in my face. I want to be able to inhale as I want. I don't want to just, Also, little motivation for the Giants. You have a coach who's definitely a contender for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the top 2 or 3 choices for Coach of the Year because he's done a great job with what they have. Mm-hmm. You're 1-4 against teams with winning records this year. You made the playoffs when nobody, even including your own fans, thought you were going to make it. How about get some momentum going to the playoffs? How about you beat the Philadelphia Eagles? How about you knock them off the 1 seed? That probably makes you feel pretty good as a team. And we'll worry about you guys later, but do what you need to do week 18 to help my team out. You do that, I feel like you probably lock in Coach of the Year for Dable at that point. If they, last year they had 4 wins, right? This year you're a playoff team. You knocked off what was the 1 seed going into the playoffs. I mean, that matters, taking momentum in. And again, I'm not worried about the Giants and Daniel Jones. I just need you to be great week 18. That's all I'm asking.
And look, and here's the thing about it too, and it helps in their mind, it's going to help them in the playoffs, because guess what? We ain't got to go see y'all in Philly now. If we beat y'all, we ain't got to worry about going to Philly now. For all intents and purposes, with them not being the number 1 seed. So yeah, it definitely matters across the board there for sure. And it's almost kind of like, remember, like, was it 07? They were playing they were locked in or whatever. They're playing the Patriots the last game of the year, and they're like, no, we're swinging for the fences on these guys and played hard. I'm not saying it's all the way built that way, but there's a lot of things here within that of them going out here and playing hard. So I do think they're going to play everybody. I'm buying what Dabball said, Spoonie. I think they are going to play everybody. Now, whether they get the job done or not, I don't know. But I do, I just want to say, as we're talking about Coach of the Year, a lot of talk about MVPs and everything. All I'm just saying is, maybe Daniel Jones should get some MVP considerations. I mean, go look at his stats and Jalen Hurts' stats. Just put them side by side and go look at them. Then come back and talk to me.
700 rushing yards?
Their stats are very similar.
DJ put it out in space earlier. I was like, wow. So I'm going to say this. Who has the most pressure this week? The Cowboys, the Eagles, Giants. Washington's already out. Cowboys don't have the most pressure because
it's the Eagles, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Eagles.
Yeah.
So a second-year head coach, right? You made up. Don't get me wrong. I hope Jalen Hurts is healthy. I hope his injury doesn't hurt his career moving forward. Props to him. But reality, I don't think they want to play him. I don't think they really want to play him so soon. But see, the thing is, division is on the line. Number one seed's on the line. And this is what happens when you don't take care of business. And again, I remember the back and forth on Twitter between Cowboy Nation and Philadelphia Eagles fans, where they, when we had a situation with Dak not being available and we had Cooper Rush, X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 the third. So now you get to understand and feel what the Cowboy fans were feeling when we didn't have Dak Prescott. If a team that faces adversity, you're going to know what type of team you have when they face it. Again, you lost against the Cowboys. You lost against the Saints. Now, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts don't play defense. He's not a $25 million receiver in A.J. Brown. The Eagles are still capable of winning. But maybe, just maybe, Jalen Hurts was just bailing out his coach. And he's just not a good play caller. Just keeping it simple as that. Because what went wrong in those games went wrong. And so, again, I'm not trolling here. I'm just calling for what it is because, again, you get to see the type of team that they are when you're facing adversity. So now, Jalen Hurts is coming back. He missed 2 games. How healthy he's going to be? His shoulder, X, Y, and Z. He's not Wolverine. He's not an X-Men. He is a football player. He's an athlete. He's a superstar. He's a human being. But again, he's injured too at the same time. He's not fully healthy. So is this a smart thing for them? We don't know if he gets one hit that, you understand, will he be all right for the playoffs and next one? So these are the things that this Eagles head coach Sirianni is going to have to face. Again, everything was so sweet in the beginning, but now it's just so spoiled and so sour. It's like you get up in the morning and you want that banana for your cereal, for your Cheerios, and you go get that banana, it's all rotten, it's all messed up. You're like, damn it, I didn't want to go to the store. I wanted some cereal and bananas, and now you can't have it. That's what it's like. So this one game, this one time, if you don't do this right, I don't want to see no 4-letter networks come out and say, well, this is what happened, X1, because we went through it. We faced it, we challenged it, we beat his ass, and now we're doing this. Hello?
Yeah.
Well, I don't care about the 4-letter networks because they are that's reality TV. So, anyways, personally, I don't think they should play him just because, I mean, that's something that they could easily re-aggravate.
Right.
I mean, I just think that, they would only be doing it for pride. It wouldn't be in his best interest. It would just be, oh, we had the 1 seed all year and then we could possibly lose it. Oh no, we don't want that. I think it'd be the wrong reasons. I think for his best interest, they shouldn't do it. But that's on them.
I think they're going to play him.
Right.
What do you think, O?
I think they are because he's already missed 2 weeks. If you sit him out there and they are the 1 seed, you're not playing your starting quarterback for 4 or 5 weeks by that point, by the time you have kickoff. Like that's kind of scary. And there's data out there, which I want to share with you guys because I think it's interesting. So Sports Illustrated did an article. It was actually last January, and it was in reference to the Kansas City Chiefs and their decision on whether they should rest their starters or not week 17. I think fans think teams are going to rest their starters a lot more than teams actually do. And there's some raw data out there, which is pretty interesting. So the top 2 seeds, so the 1 seed in each conference and the 2 seed in each conference, over the last 10 years, only 2 of them rested their starter week 17 and won their first playoff game. 4 teams rested their starters week 17 and lost their next playoff game. But 28 teams did not rest their starters week 17 and won their next playoff game. So real quick, 2 teams rested starters week 17 and won the first round. 28 teams did not rest their starters and won in the first round out of 40. So the data is significantly in rest versus rust. That's something people talk about. But having momentum going into the playoffs is huge. And if you're not sitting or you're not playing your starter, 1, you had a chance at the 1 seed and now you may be the 2 or 3 because you don't play him. 2, you now have a quarterback who hasn't played in a month. That's kind of scary. But at the same time, if Lane Johnson's not out there, I'd be kind of hesitant as an Eagles fan, knowing how their offensive line plays without him, and knowing even if we're the 2 or 3 seed, Jalen Hurts was so vitally important to our team. I want him out there, but at the same time, momentum is everything. Getting hot at the right time is everything, especially to get to the postseason. Everything is a clean slate in terms of record, but momentum is still there. So if I was an Eagles fan, I would want him out there for all the reasons I just mentioned. And same thing for the Cowboys. I don't want to rest players because, yeah, we have a playoff seed locked up. Worst case scenario, we're 5. But it means so much to have momentum going into the playoffs. And we've won some games recently. Let's extend that streak, beat a division rival, end their year on a great note. Peace out, Captain Tutty, and go into the playoffs. Like, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and then, the other thing, too, is, another reason why I think they're going to play Hurts, even against the rust that he'd have from not playing for so long, you don't want to go to the playoffs losing 3 straight. Do not want that smoke. Can I get these Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts numbers? Is that okay? Can I do that?
Can I just be worried about, like, if he gets hit again and he, you know what I'm saying? That would be my thing. Re-aggravating it, calling it again, like, then you're definitely going to have a harder battle in the playoffs. So you definitely have to really think about weighing the risk and the reward.
That's why this Sunday is going to be so interesting, Mary. We don't know. That's so much is in the air.
Before you give those numbers, can we talk about the NFL schedule makers crushed it?
They did.
Crushed it. There's multiple teams that win and you're in. There's teams that beat this team and you win the division. So we won't know, unfortunately, because of what happened with Hamlin. But it would have been the Bengals versus Ravens week 18 to decide the division. That one may be extended until they decide what they're going to do with that previous game. But you have the Jags Titans playing for a division. You have tons of teams playing rivals, and division games are one of the first things that they have as division tiebreakers for playoffs. So this week is super exciting. There's a few games that really don't matter, but for the most part, almost every game has a team that
it's got
has
a
shot
to
at
it.
playoffs.
Yeah, it's wildly interesting. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. Week 18, and there's a lot of stuff on the line. It gets no better. It gets no better from just an NFL standpoint of watching all the games in general, not just about what the Cowboys are doing. So 67.2% completion percentage for Daniel Jones. Jalen Hurts, 67.3%. Okay. Passing yards, 3,205 for Daniel Jones. 3,472 for Jalen Hurts. Passing touchdowns, 15 for Daniel Jones, 22 for Jalen Hurts. Both have 5 INTs. Rushing yards, 708 for Daniel Jones, 747 for Jalen Hurts. Rushing touchdowns, a little bit of a gap here, but 13 for Jalen Hurts and 7 for Daniel Jones. Very similar.
I mean, the numbers aren't.
Except scoring, though. There's 35 combined touchdowns for Hurts in less games to 22 combined touchdowns for Daniel Jones. That's the single biggest difference. Aside from that, yeah, they are extremely similar. But in terms of scoring points for your team, that's the big difference. And that's the Daniel Jones conundrum because it's 3 years in a row now of 13 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns.
The disparity in talent, whether it's the O-line, whether it's the wide receivers, I mean, the disparity in talent is huge for them.
Offensive line, the whole nine, up and down the roster. Jones is doing more with less.
I'm not buying his argument. Because there's other teams out there that have worse. There are teams, believe it or not, that have arguably worse supporting staff, and those quarterbacks still produce touchdowns because that's part of the job. Like, that's my thing with Daniel Jones. We talked about it. He went 36 starts in a row. 36 starts in a row without scoring 30 points until last week. So hats off to him. He got that one off his back. That's a long time in the NFL when teams like the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans score 30 points and you can't. Like, that's scoring points matters in the NFL. But I will say, full transparency for him, he has had a huge step up this year from his last 2 years. But even his huge step up, 22 total touchdowns is 16th. So his best year of his career, he's an average quarterback. that's gonna be interesting to see what they do contract wise this offseason, because
Yeah.
they didn't pick up that 5th-year option, and maybe they're gonna regret that, because instead of paying $22 million or whatever it would have been,
Right.
probably looking at more than that now. So
It'll be interesting. I'm just saying. Hey, very similar. Very similar. I'm just throwing it out there. It's whatever. Go Big Blue Sunday.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
put up
Yeah.
a back-to-back 30-point game. Shut me up, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, go do it. Another interesting point here going into this game, though. But the injury report, boy, Washington. Geez, it's a litany list. Both offensive tackles, guard. I mean, just all over the place. Guys who were missing. Cowboys not a big list.
Missing a
Not a
guy
big
who has a
list.
tooth problem, apparently.
Toothaches.
Well, God, have you had a wisdom tooth issue? Come on now. Come on. There's not a worse pain than teeth, man.
How many times are you going to miss practice for sickness every other week, tooth, personal issue, what else? Yeah, like everything, like every other week he's missing. I've never seen somebody get sick so many times in my life.
That's fair, Mary. He's trying to build up his immune system. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's just not used to the Texas weather yet.
Maybe he just needs to go back to Louisiana.
So Haley Sutton, shout out to her. She works with the Cowboys, the mothership, Girls Talk, Boys Talk, had a really funny comment about the injury report for the Washington Commanders, and she said it looks a lot like those coworkers that forgot they have PTO time at the end of the year and they're going to use it. They have players out for everything. There's like 11 players or something that were DNP. I thought it was funny. So shout out to her.
But here's the question: Is it really beat up, or are they going to sit their guys? Are they just getting ready to sit them? Is that where it's at? I mean, they're going to play the rookie quarterback Sam Howell, right? And the one thing for me, if you're going to play sit whoever defensively, that's not going to matter. But if you're going to play the rookie and throw him out there, you need to have as much as your full complement of O-line and offensive players around him to really get an idea of what he is, or to truly evaluate him. So to me, that's the interesting part, because once I heard he was going to start, I'm like, okay, they're going to go full tilt. And then I saw the injury list, PTO, which is great. I'm like, a lot of mixed signals here, Spoony. A lot of mixed signals here. What do you? What's your gut feeling telling you, man?
I mean, for me, I'm like, well, you want to do your due diligence on Sam Howell to see what type of quarterback he is, if he's part of the future. At the same time, the Commanders will go through a transition with a whole new ownership, possibly new staff and everything. So in case Von Rivera is still in the picture, okay, because he does know these guys. And again, he's done a great job for what he can do. It's not easy, getting a quarterback and whatnot. They're pretty much a good, solid QB away from being a contender. And he gave this team hopes. At the same time, you want to see these young guys. If he's still part of the future, you want to know. You've seen Heineke. You know Carson Wentz. You want to know about how, if you want to draft a quarterback in the draft, X, Y, and Z, this is the time to see the type of guys you have if he's still part of the future. So with me, I think Washington will try to play to win, but at the same time, it's going to be with the young talent, with the talent they want to see on the field that Sunday. They're going to give it all, but it might not be enough in my opinion. It's not going to be enough in my opinion. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, here's the thing. They want to evaluate him. That's cool. If they can't block it, it's going to be a long day for him. Now, Granted, we don't know what he's going to play like. We don't know. You can kind of look at some preseason tape. You can go back to college, the whole nine. Oh, where you kind of land on this here with the Sam Howell news that he's going to be the starter? We're seeing these offensive linemen missing practice right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I feel like if you're putting him out there, you have to put his supporting cast out there. Defensively, it doesn't matter. Like, if some of those guys are nicked up or anything, it's week 18, they're not going, past this. So why risk further injury? But from the offensive standpoint, like, you need Jahan Dotson out there. You need Scary Terry out there, because if he's only getting one game as a trial audition, obviously he'll have next offseason. But if he doesn't perform well, he wasn't a high draft choice. Carson Wentz is probably not going to be back. Heineke is a free agent. So they probably are going to be aggressively in the quarterback market. If he's only going to get one game as a debut trial run, like, you kind of have to at least put all the eggs in his basket and say, hey, go be great, or as good as you possibly can. Because even if he's not terrible and he's just okay, there's some reason to be excited. Like, that given the circumstances, playing a tough defense, it's somebody who has a lot to play for, and you had nothing to play for. Like, it'd be easy to go out there and lay an egg, and it is what it is. But if he plays okay, maybe they still look at quarterbacks, but he's still in consideration. If he plays terribly, he'll still have an opportunity because he's a rookie contract, all right? He's going to have several years with the organization, but he'll do nothing to give them confidence, which will, make them not go aggressively after somebody else to compete with them. So I feel like you have to give him some supported cast out there. So I would expect that they probably will run the ball a lot. That's what they did last week. They just force-fed Brian Robinson the ball repeatedly, which he's a great story too, coming after getting shot this offseason and being having a really good rookie season. So credit to him. But I feel like they're going to make the game plan as easy as possible.
Who's also on the injury report.
Yeah, him as well.
I'm like, Lord have
John
mercy.
Dotson, though, a guy this guy over here was really high on, 7 touchdowns. He had a pretty good rookie year. And
missed some time and still got it done. Yeah, man, that's my pet cat at wide receiver. He's dead to me now in Washington. But good job, John. Good job, John. Hey, showing up and showing out for sure. So we get a look at this new offensive line, guys. Now, how long this offensive line is going to stay, Pat? Because the Tom Biadasz situation is they're hoping to have him back right for the playoffs. But we're going to get a look here, right? We're going to get a look at Peters at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard. Mary, are you excited to see this? And McGovern at center. Are you excited to see this work out, or is this something you've been looking forward to? How do you feel about going into it?
I've been wanting to move Tyler Smith in at left guard for a while now, so I'm excited. I think that'll help our passing game, and it's good to see it before, just in case we need that rotation in the playoffs, that we'll see it before then. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, maybe I'm crazy on this one. Maybe. I think you just leave it, and unless McGovern falls off the train here. I liked what I saw from McGovern when he was at center, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I was worried. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I thought he stepped the ball with a lot better velocity and pace.
Yeah.
Maybe not getting to the second level, but I thought he did much better than I thought. Here's the thing: I don't want to go in there and Tyler's not right tackle. I really want his high ankle sprain's not right for him to play center. I'm really hoping this works. However long Peters can stay healthy, and I don't want to do nothing stupid with Peters will play so many snaps, and then we're going to rotate and do some things and all that. Oh, do you want this for the playoffs? Or are you okay with Tyler? Because basically, Biadasz comes back around to get back to McGovern at guard, and then Tyler Smith out there at left tackle. Where you fall here, seeing this lineup coming in week 18?
I really just don't know yet. I like the idea of it, but we've only seen it for I could probably say definitively after this game, because I'll see a full game of action, and then last game, they were kind of thrown together and did what they did, and they've done that all year. Philbin has been rotating guys in and out due to his own game planning and also injury. Yeah. Sometimes it wasn't in his control. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, but I don't know for sure yet. Like I do like Tyler Smith at left guard. I love that idea. I don't love the idea of him at left tackle, but also there's some hesitancy, obviously, with the team to have Jason Peters out there at left tackle. So, I'm interested to see what it looks like, especially going against one of the better, assuming these guys play, right? Which we just talked about with the DNPs. Assuming they play, I'm interested to see how they hold up against one of the better front sevens in the league.
And I have a bingo card moment here for Cowboys. I have a bingo card. Here's the bingo card. Y'all ready? Before this season started, who had Tyler Smith versus Ridgeway week 18?
Oh my God, I forgot about Ridgeway. Wow.
Because that's what we're going to see. They got to get it on during practice. We're going to see it for the opposite team. Wow, how 18 weeks can really change a lot.
I just wanted to add, so the thing about Tyler Smith, high ankle sprain, I don't know how true this is, the Joneses just say anything, but apparently, because he's had a high ankle sprain on that same ankle before.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, so they say that usually after the second time it heals better, faster, heals better. Yeah, see, I gave that same look too. And then Heard that on the radio from Mr. Stephen Jones. And then another thing, Farniak, he got
They
some
just
work
activated
in
him, right?
practice. Yeah, he got some working in practice today, and they do want to get him in there to like hopefully be. He might be active on Sunday. They made it seem like he could be ready to actually, at least be in the lineup. So.
Right, because they opened up the 21-day window, right? And maybe that's the cut for. We haven't get to the James Washington cut yet. Maybe that's the trade-off. Oh,
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to. They made a roster move today. They waived. Shout out to James Washington. It just didn't work. Our Amari Cooper replacement just didn't work. It is what it is.
he was the Cedric Wilson replacement. Come on now.
But it didn't work.
It didn't work. Either way, whoever he was supposed to replace, it didn't work. So he ends his Cowboys career with 0 catches for 0 yards and a lot of time in the training room. And best of luck to him
15,
wherever.
was it 15 snaps? Unfortunately,
with the drop. So
Yeah.
not a great showing for him, but I'm sure there was some veteran leadership and stuff that he talked to the other guys. So we'll look for the silver line. But either way, they released him, so there's a roster spot available. Maybe they decide to go ahead and activate him ahead of time because, as Nick's mentioned, there's a 21-day window. They've activated that, so he could be back as soon as they want him. If they want him to play this week, they could.
Yep.
boom. All right, Spoon. I know you talked about on the space a little bit here. You said you were at a 7 of seeing this Peters and Tyler Smith combo to the left side with McGovern at center. Had some time to think about it. Still sitting at that 7?
Yeah, I'm staying at 7 because, again, if you're telling me if Jason Peters plays a full game, if I see him play a full game, it will definitely go a little higher. That's my mindset. Can he play a full game? Other than that, it's a good setup. It's definitely a good setup. And I'm with Mary. I thought, how McGovern handled that center spot. I was like, oh my God, how is it going to happen? He handled it pretty well, playing center his first time this year. So they can do it. I feel confident that they wouldn't have pulled this move. They don't think Peters could do it, but I got to see it for myself. So I'm staying at a 7.
And also kudos to Tyler Biotish because this time last year we were like, like what is he out there doing? Like he's a liability. And then this time he got injured and my heart stopped.
Yeah. What a year can change.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. I haven't heard anybody else bring this up, and maybe if they did, give them credit for the idea. But if not, it's my idea, and I trademarked it right now.
Yeah, done. Your idea. I like it. Let's go.
So the conversation has been Tyler Biotis will be back, and then you can rearrange the offensive line. Do you rearrange the offensive line if it looks good this week? You guys are talking about leaving it as is with Connor McGovern at center. When Tyler Biotis is back, maybe you just swap McGovern and Biotis out, and McGovern's now your swing interior guy who can play both guard positions.
I
and
love
center.
it.
Because then you have Jason Peters at left tackle, Tyler Smith. Like I feel like that's probably the best 5, but we haven't done that because of all the injuries we've had this year. Maybe that's the move. Do you guys think that's the case, or do you think that they would Connor McGovern now moves back to left guard and then Jason Peters is back on the bench? Because now you're making a 3-way move versus just a 1-for-1 swap.
I'm worried about the playoffs.
I mean, here's the thing.
I like your idea.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. And it's just, we've asked this question throughout this year when it comes to Peters. They don't trust him 40 snaps. I don't know what the snap count is they have, but they obviously have a snap count for him. I just don't know what it is. They haven't been willing enough to play him. The one thing that I can think of, maybe it flips them, is, okay, we're here now. It's basically don't get the bye. You win 4 games, you're in the Super Bowl. You've babied him this long, football shape, the whole 9. Can he give you 4 games? And maybe they're more comfortable now knowing where you're at and what's going on to, okay, we can roll with this and move forward because here we are. Tyron's back over there. He's ramping up. And that's another thing we haven't talked about. Week 1 wasn't great at right tackle. A little bit better week 2. Need to see some progression there from him again. Week 3, specifically in the run game, if we're being honest. But now, with Peters here, do they feel confident now of, okay, look, now we'll push the chips in. He can be the guy over there. Sure, if this thing comes out and it looks really good, and let's go with it, they're going to play the front. We understand what Washington's front is. They're stout. And if this looks really good for them, now you can pull and just go back to your guy, right? When it comes to Tyler Biotish, if he's ready to go, some deer antler spray down there, whatever it was, the second time it heals better. Mary, is that what we heard? And whatnot.
That's what the Jones
yeah. Sounds like a
they
little
got
fairy.
that medical degree that we didn't know about.
Yeah. It sounds like they're sprinkling a little fairy dust, a little hope, wish, and prayers out here for that. But if he does come back into the fold, and this thing looks good, I mean, ultimately, right? You want your stretch run, the best 5. We talked about that for years and years and years. Yeah, right. You'd have to at this point push the chips in. If he gets, because here's the thing, if he gets hurt, okay, guess what? At worst, you're going back to Tyler Smith at left tackle, McGovern back at left guard, and you go back to that and move forward. Mm-hmm. Although I know sneakily though, you still really have Tyler Smith over at left tackle.
I would, yeah.
I definitely would.
I'm not the only person that
I've been
thinks
thinking
that
about
because I saw it from our guy Joshua Parker.
Yes, that's what I want right
badass
there.
Martin Peters is their best 5 right now.
That's what
I agree, but they're not doing that, so I'll take Tyler Smith at left guard and Jason Peters at left tackle. And then shout out to our guy Big Dash Knows. He's the Giants content creator. He's a buddy of Nick's and I, cool dude.
Yeah.
He said, y'all trying to get that top seed? We're putting pause on Philly.
Put the
Just
pause
keep watching
on.
it. That's the
Hey.
plan. We talked about that.
God,
And
that would be-
Nick's over here is advocating
Go
for
Big
Daniel
Blue.
Jones to be MVP. So if you
He's
guys,
got Jalen
you guys
Hurts
go do
numbers.
that, hey,
I'm saying
you
he
guys
should
go
get
do
some
that this
votes.
week. You
He
guys
can get some
unite.
votes.
30, 40, I
What's
don't care. Whatever it
the
takes to beat the
gang
Eagles,
flag?
I'm on
They're
board.
holding the
Daniel
flags
Jones,
together.
Yeah. Let's hold the flags together.
Listen. Be respectfully. Respect. We're not trolling, but just AJ. Does John got an AJ Brown in the roster? No, they don't. Okay. Do they have a Devontae Smith on the roster? No, they don't. They have a Dallas Cowboys in the roster? No, they don't. Do they have an offensive line close enough like the Eagles? No, they don't. I mean, all he has is Saquon Barkley. That is it. That's all. Hey, meanwhile, the same running back that the backup running back in Philadelphia, the starting running back in Philadelphia, who was Saquon's backup, and Miles Sanders. I remember 2 weeks ago, he went on the podcast and came out and said, in Penn State, Barkley was scared to come off the field because he knows I was a threat to him. I mean, my God. I mean, Slade, that's the last game that he was playing with the Giants. He was winning, they scored 48 points. Slade came out and said, well, y'all don't have receivers like Devontae. Y'all don't have this, y'all don't have that. And see, that wasn't smart of Slade. You know why it wasn't smart? Because now this game matters. So, you're facing what's his name? P.O. Your guy, Yvonne Thibodeau. That's his name.
What's up,
like
Tibbs?
Snow Angels, on the floor. And everything.
I need Snow Angels this week.
Yeah.
Angels this week. Put him to sleep. All that stuff. Do it this week.
So understand. You gotta again, Eagles fans. Y'all coming out saying, "Oh, they in the playoff. They don't need to play." No, you're wrong. This coach here is changing the culture. The Giants exceeded expectation. Let's keep that 100.
We're putting all the juju out here.
I mean,
why
wouldn't they want to
We're
beat?
spreading it. I like it.
The Eagles have beat them like pretty in devastating fashions for multiple years now in a row.
Revenge tour.
Why wouldn't they want to go into the playoffs with that kind of momentum of beating them? I mean, why would they sit their starters for that? Like there's really no reason in my head. Right. If you are trying to really show anybody in the NFL that you deserve to be in the playoffs, as you deserve to be where you are, there's no reason to sit your team and let them just walk into the first seat. There's no reason to do that. It really isn't.
Yes. Yeah, let's
also,
go Big
Tibbs,
Blue. I'm with it.
Tibbs was asked about, how do you feel about Jeff Saturday? And he said, never heard of him. Who's Sirianni? Like Sirianni, that's that app on your phone, right? Like ask Sirianni and it answers a question.
Yeah.
That's what I need Tibbs' answer to be this week. Go do Snow Angels or whatever you want to do. Go be great week 18. Get that momentum going in the playoffs and help us out.
Yeah.
Right now, when it comes, I seen the Eagles press conference for some of the players after that game, and it was pretty much you got guys throwing the quarterback, the back quarterback under the bus, and he looks at me. See, that's not the type of attitude you need going to a game like this. Whatever you got going wrong, you go in the locker room, you address it there. Let's fix this together. You're going out to the media and airing out dirty laundry. It takes maybe 1 or 2 plays for something to not go your way, and everybody's already going down that list. You know, a bad mood or whatever. You shouldn't do that. And again, this is not trolling. This is keeping it 100. Because right now, the reality is setting in. Reality is here. These are the things that we went back and forth against Eagles fans. Y'all facing adversity right now. This is the type of team that you are. And if things don't go the right way for them, this should be one of the worst seasons ever for them. I don't care about their record, ever. You know why? Because I remember last year, we got our division, week 14, week 15? You mean to tell me, as the Cowboys lost close games, while Cowboys is getting trolled this whole time, we are still knocking at the door for that division? Shame on you. That's all I'm going to say about them right now.
10-4. Well, and of course, ultimately, too, as we kind of talk about the offensive line and things that are happening there, the number one thing for the Cowboys, win and get out clean. No injuries. Win, get out clean is the best thing, what the doctor ordered, if you will. There was a cornerback that was released today. I'll throw it around, spin the block here. He's not who he once was, obviously. Xavier Rhodes, are you putting a claim in for him, or?
Yeah, I'm putting in a claim in for every cornerback.
Every single one. Yeah. I was going to say the same thing.
So shout out to our guy, Wright, because Mama Wright does the spaces with Knicks. She's great. So shout out to her.
Yeah.
He played well, considering the circumstances. He didn't play great. He definitely is going to continue to get targets thrown his way, but he's making enough plays, especially last week with the interception, and he's been pretty good in run support. That's actually what I would say I'm most impressed with him so far is he's a tall, lean, lanky guy. Like, you don't expect him to come up. He's not like dropping the hammer on anybody, but he's a sound tackler, and he's been pretty good in run support, which is good to see. And maybe that interception gives him some confidence, but we don't have a ton of depth at the cornerback position, and he has familiarity with George Edwards.
Boom.
Yes.
He has familiarity with Anthony Barr and Jaron Curse. So, I feel like he's somebody you could bring in, and he would immediately have some comfortability with multiple players and a coach in the organization. And Mike McCarthy coached against him.
Right.
So Al Harris played against him. It's just there's enough ties there. I think it makes sense to put a claim. If he doesn't play, we have Trayvon Mullen who's not playing. We have Mackenzie Alexander who's not playing. Why not add another vet in the mix and see if he can do anything at all to help out? And even if that's 5 snaps a game or 15 snaps a game, I'd feel more comfortable with that versus the unknown that we have right now at that position.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Wright, and I'll tweet this during the game, the more reps he gets, the better you're seeing him get comfortable and play. I would like to see that trend continue. But hey, look, you put a claim in, you got some depth. You know, we always talk about that adequate NFL depth because, look, if you lose one of these guys, you got to go back to boss man.
Yeah.
He had his opportunity 2 games, and
he might have another toothache. You just never know.
Damn, Mary.
I just don't know. You never know what's going on over there.
Look, Margarita Mary's kind of happy. Modelo Mary is a savage, apparently. Dear God. But again, we saw the 2 games with Kelvin Joseph, and they said that was enough. They pulled so I'm with that. Look, if you have to go, even if he doesn't play, it's the emergency factor. You'd rather have him out there instead of Kelvin Joseph in the playoffs if there's an injury to go down or whatever happens. So I'm definitely putting in the. He hashtagged it, Spoon.
Roads closed.
He didn't, but he didn't route it. He didn't route it, Spoon.
I don't route no more. I'm a saved human being. That route is canceled. I don't do. See, that was the old school. But when I went to Professor O's class, alongside with Mary, with the broom, no more out, no more hashtag. I have been saved and healed. So from now on let's just sign him. And that is it. That is it.
Fair enough. So we'll wait and see. They go through the process and see if there's anything there. They put in a claim for him and whatnot. You know, the one thing about this team in general here, as we're heading into Week 18, and I kind of thought about this over the weekend and throughout this week. They haven't lost 2 games in a row. I think that matters. I think anytime there's been, as we talked a lot about adversity and what they've went through and whatnot, you know, the injuries to Dak and everything, team has consistently answered the bell. And I just think that matters because you stack that up over the year. And at any time, you know, they could fold and get out of it, you know, and one of the things that we talked about on the Philly game, and I was big on, I was like, they were down 10 early. They could have folded. They're already locked into a playoff. In the third quarter, they're down 10 again. They could have folded, like, all right, it's cool. It's whatever. Let's just move on. We're ready. And they didn't. But that, you know, was a small sample size. But now I thought about everything. I said, well, I think it's just indicative of this team in general. Like, if it goes bad, they have the right kind of leadership, the right kind of culture. And we said before, like, after the Green Bay game, and they had to play Minnesota, right? And there's a lot of talk, and we said, man, they're really mad, but hey, what does that mean? We've heard talk before, show it. They've actually backed it up. And I think that matters. I think that speaks a lot about this team. It gives me confidence in where they're headed and what they're going, just because of they've answered the bell consistently. And, you know, I think even last year, when things were a little left, and I think I'm not trying to dig up whether the calf was good for Dak or whatever the case may be. They never really seemed to answer the bell at times down the stretch, and they've done it consistently all year. Just for me, for this team, you know, as we're heading into Week 18, I thought it was very impressive in throughout the year of some of those things that they've done. It's just been very resilient in the face of adversity, and I think that matters, especially for the team going to playoffs, whether it's the 5th seed, the 2 seed, or if Santa wants to drop by a little late, make it a 1, so be it. So, yeah, it's.
I mean, it's another.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, like you said, they've answered. You know, we typically, like you said, it's been situations where it's like you never really know what they're gonna do, but this time they really have answered adversity in a good way. And then just like, you know, in a game where it was close and with the Eagles on Christmas Eve, I mean, we struggled defensively quite often in that game where, you know, we were giving up big plays, but when we still got turnovers and when it really mattered most, we made those stops. You know, they still had time to score at the end of that game. Even after the last turnover, they had time to score, and when it mattered the most, we were able to keep them out of the end zone. So, I mean, that is huge. That's huge for them mentally. I think that's a huge step for us as a team, because there's been many a times where the defense couldn't make a save like that at the end.
Very true. Now we just needed to carry forward in these playoffs, right? I think we've crossed all the T's, done all the I's here. Oh, is there anything else in this game, this matchup, playoff scenarios? We covered all that. Is there anything we missed?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. But to your point, though, there's definitely a difference in the demeanor, the culture, like Spoonie mentioned earlier when he's talking about the Giants. There's a difference in the team culture now versus before when McCarthy joined the team. Whether you're a fan of McCarthy or not, it's undeniable, I think, if you follow the Cowboys, to not say there's a difference in toughness. There's a difference in the ability to fight through adversity. There's nobody in the clubhouse after a bad game saying, you know, if Jerry's not tripping, I'm not tripping. Like, that's not something you're hearing from this organization. You're hearing people say, that's my fault. I messed up. I'm not going to do that again. I let my team down. Accountability is very much in the forefront of our team's mindset, and I think that goes a long way. Now, obviously, you have to execute. You have to game plan effectively and everything else that goes with it, but the culture is there. Can they seize the opportunity?
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, big facts. I've been big on the McCarthy hire from the gate, and I understand. It's just like, and we talked about this in the space. It's just like me and my guy Tony go back and forth when it comes to Kellen Moore. Like with Kellen Moore, for instance, like for me, it's more aggravation than anything. I can see him be really elite level efficient in his play calling, and then just completely go brain dead. I'm like, why? What is going on here? And I understand there's certain things maybe about McCarthy that people don't like or whatnot, and I get that. But overall, in changing in 9+ years of culture here with Garrett or whatever, you just see it, man. And it's a growth period from last year. Whether they end up winning the division or not, whether they might go 13-4, not win the division, right? That's another win from last year. And fundamentally, we have to be honest. Before they lined up for an actual game that mattered, everybody said this team isn't as talented as the 12-5 team. That's what was said, right? And you see what they've done. That's just a lot on the head coach, because that was the question a lot about McCarthy. What does he do? What does he do? I think we've gotten the answer as we've seen CeeDee Lamb walk through the door and be number one. We've gotten the answer about Mike McCarthy too, is everything he said it from the very first time he met with the players. Everything we do here is about winning. And he's been consistent. Even with all the injuries, year one, COVID year, whatever, last year, this year, everything he does is about winning. And that's spread throughout the locker room. And I think that's why you see them bounce back and not, hey, look, Eagles lost 2 straight. Cowboys haven't done that all year. Backup quarterback be damned. 4-1, right? And look, Jaron Curse in and out of the lineup. Hey, somebody step up. You lost 2 of your top 3 cornerbacks. Hey, somebody step up. LV's out. Everybody want to get rid of LV. Now it's like, thank God LV's coming back from the playoffs. Figured out, we have a problem with defensive tackle. All right, go get Hankins. Let's plug him in here. And drop that on him in case they didn't see that. The run yardage per carry difference when he's in the game.
Yeah, huge. And he's supposed to be back for the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I'll pull it up.
We need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah, so while I'm doing that too, to your point, somebody in the comments, let me pull it up because I want to make sure I give them credit. We'll do that one. Tony's comment's great too, but Haley94, where the attitude before was all is lost when one player went down, and we did, right? That could be Tony Romo, Tyron Smith, whoever it was in that scenario. Sean Lee, yeah, great example.
Yeah.
Week 1, we started the year already down Tyron Smith, which was a death sentence for us previously. If he was out, everything went to hell, right? We lost Dak, quarterback 1, week 1. We lost Connor McGovern week 1. We lost Jaron Curse, who was arguably our third best player with Diggs and Parsons last year. So,
still didn't have Gallup.
Could have folded. Yeah, didn't have Gallup already. You could have folded right then and there, and people would have understood it. But that's just not how this team's, MO is this year, which is fun to see.
Yeah,
it's very fun to see.
I'm pulling it up right now. So I went ahead and looked at a few players in particular to see, who is doing their job in run defense, because that's been something that, has kind of been a consistent thorn in our side. And obviously we made a trade at the trade deadline, which was unexpected, in my opinion. I didn't see that coming at all. But we went after Hankins and added another one tech, which you can already talk about Ridgeway, and we may not have needed to do that if we just put Dak and IR in the first place, but it is what it is. They went after and brought in Hankins, and when he was here, prior to his injury, there was a noticeable improvement in the run defense. I'm sorry, I'm looking for it.
Yeah. Switch over, get ready for that.
With him, the difference was 0.86 yards per carry improvement when he plays versus when he's not on the field. So you're almost a full yard every single time he's on the field and they run the ball versus when he's not. And then Big Bo, we talked about a lot on the channel, and he's had injuries and some things going on later in the year, but he's still playing well when he's out there. He's actually 0.97 yards difference when he's on the field. So the potential of having both of those guys back, and that's key, because when we got Hankins, Bo immediately was hurt or sick. I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
But Bo wasn't out. So we didn't have both of them at the same time at all, really. And now we're going to have both of them back. And then we have Chauncey Golston, a guy that Knicks was super high on when we drafted him last year. And a lot of people were too, coming out of Iowa. When he's on the field, there's over a 1 yard difference in improvement with run defense. So maybe that's something that the team looks at and says, maybe in obvious run scenarios, you have Tank, Bo, Hankins, and Golston as your front four. So there's things they can do to be more formidable against the run. And I finally got the numbers. I was stalling a little bit as I scrolled.
You good?
With Hankins, 3.67 yards per carry. Without him, 4.53. Wow. So it's a 0.86 yard difference. And then Bohano, who I mentioned, was 3.57 with 4.53 without, 0.97 yard difference there.
Yeah, this is huge, man. It's just huge in what they're able to do, and get those guys back at the same time, and big opportunities there to have them on the field in rundowns is another big check mark for this defense, moving forward, and then keeping LVE clean with him coming back and what he means from the linebacker position as well. So, again, getting some guys back here to help. Help is on the way, if you will. With that being said, yes, the fatties matter. The fatties definitely matter. With that being said, 2023.
Yay!
Week 18. Everything in front of it. Everything ready, Spoon. It's time for the very first Spoonie sermon of the year. The very first. Go and get it ready.
My glasses. I have two teams I want to talk about in my sermon today. Washington Commanders, of course, and the Philadelphia Eagles. But first things first, we're not going to overlook Washington Commanders because that's our opponent for this week. I'll be very brief with them. The Commanders, he's a nice guy. I really, really am. And normally, I go crazy hard in the sermons on teams. So, I got a special poem for the Commanders this week.
Oh, Lord.
Hickory dickory dock, Commanders. The Dallas Cowboys will be on your block. When the clock strikes 4, it will be at your door to drop your ass on the off-season block. Case closed. Done. Finito. Now, to the Philadelphia Eagles. You see, it's getting quiet in these Twitter, the space. I don't see y'all no more. You guys are hanging in the corner somewhere, dodging, not looking, X, Y, and Z. But here's the thing. See, come Sunday's game at 4:00. The Cowboys against the Washington Commanders, and the next channel you're gonna have the Eagles and the New York Giants. Now, this is where the pressure's gonna be that we haven't said yet. As the game going along, see, Eagles, y'all had this division a long time ago, supposedly, right? Mathematically. Y'all gonna be looking at the scoreboard. So when you see the Cowboys winning 7-0, 14-0, 21-0, 28-0, y'all gonna be panicking. Oh my God, what do we gotta do? Sirianni is gonna be shooting in his pants. No lie, it's gonna happen. Okay, it's gonna happen. Y'all gonna have so much pressure on y'all that y'all will not be able to handle yourself the correct way. Hell, you may have the teammates come and fight each other by you ain't doing your job with no accountability. As I said over and over, a good team will face adversity. A good team will do all they can to get that W. This Dallas Cowboy team has done that week to week to week. As the Messiah himself and BJ Nick said, we haven't lost 2 in a row. You know why? Because when we lose that game, we come back, regroup, we're going to get this W, which has been done consistently all year long. Now, you see, you Eagles fans, I want you to understand this. You guys are frauds. This whole time. And see, we didn't have to call the mystery machine in the Scooby-Doo game to see who you really are. We didn't have to do that. We know who you are. Frauds. Disgusting. You had lied to the whole NFL about being a top team. No, The Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys have beat every team with a winning record, more than y'all have. The Dallas Cowboys have survived when our starting quarterback went down. The Dallas Cowboys have accountability. We don't throw each other on the floor or on the field. We don't do that stuff. We go in our locker and we regroup. The Dallas Cowboys will win the NFC East division on Sunday at 7 p.m. announced, and we're gonna have a party. We're gonna go join the space with BJ Nix. We're gonna go online on the NFL.com or DallasCowboys.com and get all the 2023 gear NFC East champion. And then we're gonna post this shit on social media for all you Eagles fans to watch and look wild. Ain't that nice? We repeated. Y'all could have had it. Y'all don't want it. We want it. See, here's the thing. Y'all not giving it to us. We're taking it from y'all. You see, I'm from New York. Understand this. I'm from New York. And see, the Giant fans here have a different feel. They love their coach. And you know what I said? Listen, we are enemies. Yes, we are. But come Sunday, we're going to be brothers and sisters. Come Sunday, you're going to get your coach of the year. Come Sunday, we're going to get our division. And we're going to hug it out and fight in the playoffs. We're going to be that team for that one time. It's going to happen. Eagles fans, sayonara.
Ooh, okay.
With the sayonara. I am dead. I am dead. Oh, Spoon. So that's a good way to start the year, Spoon.
That poem though to start it out with.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting. We never know. Like Spoonie never gives us any info ahead of time. Like, hey, I'm going this
We never
direction.
know. We have no idea.
I don't know. I still to this day don't know if he has it planned. If it's all just from the heart. If he wings it, I don't know. I just know that Spoonie always.
Look, we're just on the chat. We're along for the ride. We have no clue. We're along for the ride too. We have no clue. Hickory dickory dock. Them boys is pulled up on your block. Make that a hashtag. Let's go. We want the smoke, damn it.
On the next postseason block. There you go.
We want the smoke, damn it. But that being said, man, I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday season. Once again, Happy New Year's. Get ready for Sunday. We will be back in the building. Freestyle Friday on deck. I might be some of those Washington fans hitting me up that came by the first round. Might want to slide back through for the second round. They were kind of quiet. And one guy wanted out of a bet. And then Sam Howell got an... Look, I'm a gentleman. It's cool, bro. I'll let you out of the bet. It's fine. Then Sam Howell got announced as the starter. And now all of a sudden, like, hey, we're going to come back to the show. Hey, I think I might want to do a bet. I'm like, Sam Howell got y'all feeling like that? So we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be a fun time. With that being said, again, make sure you hit the faces over on the other side. The name's right here on Twitter. Go over there and follow us on that way. That we catch all the other content. Great tweets from everybody on this round. And, of course, the Twitter spaces on that side, too. And Friday, 8:30 p.m. Central. We're back in the building. Freestyle Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye.